Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the CEO Cartel. I am your host, Sky Black. Thank you again. This is episode number 8. Thank you for joining me. I know I'll be jumped around. Sometimes I'll be on Thursday, sometimes I'll be on Tuesday, sometimes I'll be on Friday nights, sometimes I'll be on Saturday nights. First of all, tonight was a great NBA All-Star weekend, was it not? I know tomorrow is the actual All-Star game, but today, you had the three-point contest, you have the skills game, you have the slam dunk contest. Shouts out to all the winners. Thank y'all for watching that too. Again, this is the CEO Cartel where we try to get a bunch of CEOs together to talk about things that we can do, not as black, white, or anything else, just as far as just business owners and entrepreneurs, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Usually I have a topic because I do another show called the Nashville Caveman on every Tuesdays with my homeboy Damo. And then I usually take that topic and use it to apply to how we use it as in business, as an employee, employer, and a customer. Well, tonight is something totally different, right? So tonight we want to talk about agreeing and disagreeing, the truth and not the truth. Because the last show we had some people who disagreed with a lot of things that we're saying, and that's great. We want y'all to have your own disagreements. We want you to say what's on your mind. You know what I'm saying? Come through the comments, let us know how you feel. But the issues that me and him was having was like, you're talking about apples and oranges. So on today's show, this might not be a normal show. So episode 8 is not a normal show. It's just me creating an episode and me wanting to know what you think about it. So if we're talking about apples and you are arguing for the oranges, how does that make sense? Okay. So one of the issues that we was having and we was talking about was about, just women in general, right? Most of the subjects we talk about when we talk about women are the 95% that we know, right? The 95% that we've lived, talked to, and see every day. That's who we talk about. But then you have the people that's like, well, what about the 5% over here? Those are the ones that are getting upset about what we're talking about. But we're not talking about y'all. We actually agree with what y'all are doing. So why are you arguing with us about what we're talking about? Me, Damo, the Nashville Caveman, and the 5% of women that we agree with should all be on the same page. How is it that the 5% we think should be agreeing with us is like, okay, we have an issue with what you're saying, or it sounds like you're bashing women, or sounds like you just being sexist or biased, and I'm just we can't be sexist or biased. First of all, I can't, because I've been raised by nothing but women. Before Tyler Perry even did what he called Medea, that's who raised me in the neighborhoods of Edge Hill. Just strong, black, bitter women who just was blunt about everything and told you how they felt, right? Okay. So Damo, who's a little older than me, he's been married for 24 years and he has 3 daughters. So the same things that he's saying to his daughters is the same thing he's just saying out loud on the podcast. So if he's trying to teach his daughters and other young women about what type of men to look for, then we're thinking that the 5% who have had issues with men would be like, yeah, that's good. Teach the young women what they should be looking for in a man. But then you have those that's like, well, why aren't you teaching the young men how to step up to be better for the women? And we're like, well, if we do, would they listen to us anyway? Right? With men who's been raised in the streets, Because the old folks you say it's only two places that's going to raise you, and that's nature and that's nurture. Nurture is the home, nature is the streets, and most people are coming out of single parent homes and they're being raised by the streets. You've been raised by pimp, players, hustlers, drug dealers. So that's the life that you know. Do you think you're going to watch a podcast on a man who's been married for 23 years? You think you're going to listen to him about how to be a man and how to raise kids and how to stay in a dual parent home? No, because that's not what you're used to listening to or hearing. You're used to listening to rap music, seeing these pimps on 24s and seeing these drug dealers with all these women and money. So why would you even care about what we're talking about? See, we're thinking that women are more mature than men, right? We're thinking that women, when they turn 18, they have more maturity than some 18-year-old men, because some 18-year-old men are still immature, right? So this is why we kind of catered one of the shows mostly towards the women. We wasn't trying to say that all the blame is on the women, right? We was just trying to say that, look, if at the end of the day, you're the one that has to go home and raise the child. Yes, it's not fair. It is not fair. The man should have just as much equal blame as you, but in society, the man can get up and walk away. He can. You got to carry the child for 9 months. You have to bear the burden of taking care of the child or children for 18 years, trying to chase this man down. Why are you not vetting the men that you're laying down with? Now, if prostitution is your job, then you ain't supposed to listen to this. If that's what you do for a living, then we ain't talking about you. We're talking about women who want to be married, who want a family, who wants a good man. Why are you not vetting these men before you lay down with them? Why, when you go on these first dates, you're not asking them what their goals are, what their credit score is? You know, when are they gonna buy a home? Do they want to get married? Why are you landing with men that you don't even know their names, their social security numbers, nothing? And then you end up getting pregnant and they're like, oh, well, the man, he has just as much right and blame as us. Yes, he does. He could have put on protection. He could have said no. He could have walked away. So both of y'all share it equally. It's just you the one that has to come home with the results and raise the results if he doesn't want to step up and be a man. And so some of these women are like, no. What y'all are saying, you're just bashing women and doing. No, we're not trying to bash women. Even on this show, I'm not trying to bash women. I'm just trying to say it's easier for us to talk to y'all because you're more mature than men, right? Talking to some of these little boys is like talking to this wall over here. It's just not gonna work. But women at 16, 17, 18, they mature so fast that if you can get to them and say, hey, this is what you should look out for. Don't listen to these slick talking men that's just going to just stick their straw in their Sprite and go and leave. This is what you should ask a man on the first date. This is what you should try to figure out what he's doing. Is he even working a legal job? Is he out in these streets? How does he treat his mama? Does he have other kids? Because we know that y'all will take it to heart and you will use what we're saying. Don't take it as us having a point of view and using y'all more than we using men as holding y'all more responsible than men. We just know talking to these little boys and these young boys who's been listening to all this rap music for 10 years is not going to listen to us. They're not going to do that. They're not. Statistics are saying that black women are graduating out of high school more than black men. They're going to college more than black men. They're becoming millionaires more than black men, right? They're starting out more businesses more than black men. So when I thought about doing a CEO cartel, I just knew in my mind I would be talking to more women than I would be men. Just off the rip. Because there's a lot of men living with women because they're uneducated. They didn't have no male role models. Their uncles was pimps and drug dealers. You know, their cousins are in and out of jail. So who do they have to look up to but NBA stars and movie stars who eventually get on drugs, in and out of jail, divorcing a bunch of women, having a bunch of kids that they don't need, right? So that's why when we had that last episode, and we even had an episode to what to look for in a wife. So if we talking about what to look for in a wife, then we are talking to the men. What 3 qualities you should look for in a wife, right? So in that episode, we was specifically talking about men. There was no outlash, no nothing. But then we have an episode where we just really addressing the women and what they could do better. Then here's an outroar of, hey, what you're saying is wrong, and this, and that. I mean, this episode was one of the most episodes that we had to where we usually don't do an hour episode, but we had to do 2 hours because we had so many people, so many comments, so many views to make it look like that we just wake up every Tuesday and decide, what we're gonna say negative about a woman today. What is it about a woman that we don't like today? I mean, that's not what it is. The same things that he's saying on this podcast to help y'all is the same thing he's telling his daughters. Hey, save your money, invest, buy you some land, find you a man that is on your level before you do anything. If he can't put a ring on your finger, don't lay down with him. And I agree 100%. If these men, especially if they already got 6, 7 baby mamas, why would you want to be number 7 or 8? What is it about that that's cute? There's nothing cute about that. He just tagged me in an episode. Let's take a break, and I'm going to come back to that. Okay, can we do that, y'all? Let's take a quick break. Thank you. We're back again. Welcome to the show. This is the CEO Cartel. I am your host, Scott Black. I'm a music publisher and a professional wrestler. We usually get together and we talk about business from the employee aspect, employer, customers, just business, period. But today is a different show. Today we're talking about folks who agree and disagree with whether it's me on this show or me on the Natural Caveman show, right? So he sent me a link, Damo, my host on the other podcast. He sent me a link about a girl who slept with her mama's boyfriend and got pregnant. Okay, so the little girl, I won't call her a little girl, she looks like she's about 17, 18 years old, slept with the mama's husband, which technically wasn't her daddy. Okay, so slept with the stepdaddy. And the little girl told the mama, hey, it's your fault. You weren't paying me no attention. He was buying me what I needed, taking me where I need to go. Stuff happens. It happens. What do you want me to do? And she was like, well, why would you even think out of all the men in the world? This is what caught me. Out of all the men in the world, why him? So let's talk about that. Out of all the men in the world, why would her daughter sleep with her husband? One, could be spitefulness. This is what Damon's talking about when you don't have the actual biological father in the household, a 2-parent household, and you trying to have one parent raise 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, how many kids it is. This is usually the outcome. It's not always the outcome. There's always a loophole. There's always an anomaly. So the hyperbole that I'm saying is not always correct. There's always a loophole in everything because nothing is 100%. Okay, there's always a loophole in everything. But we're just saying the majority of the time, this is what we see out of kids. They're sleeping with their first and second cousins. They're sleeping with the step parents. They're sleeping with the brother-in-laws. Or I have a cousin on my mama's side, and my cousin has a cousin on her daddy's side, and I end up getting with the cousin on her daddy's side because me and that person, we're not cousins. We're just cousins with I'm cousins with her, and she's cousins with her on 2 different sides of the family. So does that mean that I should get with her? To me, that's just spiteful, right? So it must have been something that she was hurting on the inside. They wanted to make her mama hurt, but not only did she sleep with the man, she got pregnant. So the mom is telling her either you get an abortion or you get out the house. Now, on what planet are we living on where the mama is telling the girl who's pregnant by her husband that you either abort this child for sleeping with my husband or you get out the house? And the child said, well, what about your husband? You gonna let him stay here? He's just as responsible as me, but you gonna put me, your daughter, out. She said, well, I'm gonna talk to him. But right now, this is the conversation between me and you. And right at that point, I'm with the daughter. She ain't ready to put the husband out. I don't. She's not. The way she talks, she couldn't run that household by herself. So you put the daughter out to show her the punishment, but the husband gonna come in there and finesse and stay. See, that's what we're talking about. So the mama, you should have vetted this guy before you even brought him in the household to even wonder if that was even in his head to want to sleep with your daughter. Two, like she said to the daughter, out of all the men in the world, why would you want to sleep with my husband, your stepfather? Laziness. I'm lazy. I ain't gonna lie to you. It's just in my DNA. I'm lazy. If I can take the easy way out, I will. I've been a C plus student all my life. So if I put extra time into it, I can get up to a B plus. But it's pure laziness because this man is already in the house. She ain't got to go out looking. She ain't got to date. She ain't got to get to know him because she's getting all this information through the mama. She know the stepdaddy likes Skittles. She know he likes Snickers. She know Friday nights he watches football and basketball on Wednesdays because she's there in the house. She sees it. She knows what pisses him off because she sees the arguments between the mama and the daddy. She knows what time he goes to work, how much money he's making. So he's right there in the house. So why would she take the time to want to go out and find what she's looking for when whatever she was looking for is right there in the house? The laziness. That's what I wanted to hear out of that little girl's mouth. The laziness, because he was convenient. He was already there. That's why she said, when you went around, he gave me what I wanted. When you said no, he said yeah. So the only thing I could give him back in return of value was me. And then you wonder why me and Damo have those shows. I wish I could send y'all the link. It's right here on my phone. I wish I could send y'all the link. I wish I could. I sat there and watched that video twice. And then I'm wondering, why do we have people upset at us because of the way that we're talking when you literally have a daughter sleep with her mama's husband and get pregnant and say she's not going to abort the child? Because now the only person going to suffer is the child. Because this is gonna be the weirdest damn thing ever. You know, it's gonna be the weirdest thing ever. So your husband has a child by your daughter. And that's what Name was talking about. If the mama, first of all, that means she's been in two bad relationships. She was in one bad relationship when she met your daddy because they are no longer together. Left that relationship because she must have a type. Get into another relationship, marry this guy, and this guy ends up sleeping with her daughter. That's what we're talking about. We're not bashing women. There are some women out there who get married, who have kids with their husbands, and live a nice life. There's some women out there who get married, who have kids with their husband. Divorce happens, they move on. But the majority of the women are doing what that little girl does because she's bored, she's spiteful, and she's lazy. And Damo is saying most of that is coming out of single parent households. Now, are there some bad kids that come out of good parent households? Yes, there are. There's been plenty of kids whose mom and dad gave them the world, and they still turned out to be criminals and all type of stuff. But that's a small sample. I just don't believe if that girl that we're talking about had her biological father in her life, he would have dared thought about sleeping with her mama's new husband or the stepdaddy. But since the mama has made two bad mistakes, the little girl's daddy and the little girl's stepdaddy, she slept with the stepdaddy and then got pregnant. And then told the mama she wasn't going to abort the child. She was going to keep it. And the mama said, well, you do that, you got to get out the house. And she looked at the mama and said, you gonna put your husband out? Don't worry about all that. I'm talking to you. But in my mind, I don't think she's gonna put the husband out because I don't think she can afford whatever she's doing if she puts the husband out. So she just have to just live with. Not only does she put out her child, she put out her grandchild. And then when the child grows up, it gets to wonder, you know, how you go to elementary school, you draw your little family tree, why it's kind of leaning a little bit because your mama and your grandmama been sleeping with the same guy. You know what I'm saying? It's not funny. It's not funny. But I'm just saying, your mama and your grandma been sleeping with the same guy. We're gonna talk about something else. Let's go to our last subject, but first we're gonna take a break, and we'll come back. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. You know, it's up to you. Another link he sent me. So I've been on both sides of the court system, right? I've been on child support. I've been off child support. Been there, done that, right? It's really no big deal for me, right? You know, I've raised 3 kids. My oldest one is not biologically mine, but I've been to child support court looking for his daddy. I've been to child support with the ones that I did bring into this world. I've been to child support court with other women that I was just there because they needed a ride there, whatever it is. So in this link that he sent me, the woman was like, well, you give your baby mama $500 a month to take care of that child. Why are you doing more? She was upset because the daddy paid his $500 that month, but the little girl needed some shoes, right? I don't know if it was Jordans or whatever. So he went and bought her some shoes outside of the $500. But his wife at the time is like, look, you gave her $500. Why she couldn't get the shoes out the $500? He's like, what difference does it make? I'm still the father. Am I not entitled to do extra for my child? She said no. She said, if you buy that little girl another pair of shoes, you got to go. Listen to what she just said. If you buy your daughter another pair of shoes outside of the $500 that you've been giving her mama, I'm putting you out. And in the video, in the link that I have right here on my phone, she opened up a suitcase. She started packing his bags, right? And she's putting the stuff in his bags. And he comes back in the room and says, what are you doing? She said, I told you, if you spend any more money on your child, outside of the $500 that you've been giving the mama, you got to go. Now, in the comments, one person was like, this is what happens when you don't have your own. Right? For her to even attempt to be able to do that, that means that's her house. That means you, the guy, you, the baby daddy, is living with the new girl. So she has all the power in the world to put you out. If it was yours or y'all's together, maybe she couldn't do that just as fast. So when you tell us to talk to these young men about being better, they not going to listen because he made 2 bad choices. See how on the second part of this video, I talked about the women making bad choices. Now look at the man who's made bad choices, right? His first woman encounter produced a child that he's not in the household with, that he's paying child support. His second one is now with a wife who doesn't care about the child. Think about that. How does your wife not give a darn about a child you have with another woman? Prior to the marriage, she didn't cheat or nothing. Could you imagine that? Could you imagine being married and the wife knows that you had this child before y'all got married? And you tell your wife before y'all get married, yeah, I pay child support. You know, this is what I do every month. Y'all get married, you pay your child support, everything's good. And then she tells you that if you do anything else outside the $500, you got to go. It's the weirdest thing. As a father who had to pay and then did not have to pay, regardless whether I paid or didn't have to pay, because even back in the late 90s, early 2000s, 500 really wasn't a lot. It was better than what it is now, but it wasn't a lot. So she needed something outside of that. It's my duty to do that, no matter who I was with. Even though I wasn't with nobody, but no matter who I was with, if she needed something outside of that, I was gonna do it anyway, right? They grown now, so now I don't even pay them no attention. But I'm talking about when they were little. I'm gonna do outside of that. So now I'm gonna pay my child support. I'm gonna buy school clothes. If they playing sports, I'm gonna buy their jerseys, their cleats, their socks, the bats, the balls. I'm gonna go to the games. I'm gonna bring the Gatorade. I'm gonna do all that stuff outside of the money that I'm giving the mama, because I brought them into this world, and I'm not gonna punish them because these white folks told me I had to give the mama $500. Well, I'm gonna punish y'all. Y'all just split that five and go. No, it ain't none of y'all fault. So I'm gonna give the mom the 500 like the court told me to. And then if you still need something, you pick up that phone and you call me. If you of age to call, you know what I'm saying? I wish I would have a woman tell me if you do anything else outside the job, but you gotta go. Now, heifer, you gotta go because this is my house. See, I wouldn't have made that stupid decision after breaking up with my kid's mama to move in with another woman. If I'm moving, it's gonna be mine. My name's gonna be on the house, the deed, or whatever you want to call it. So in this show, we've had two. This way, y'all can't say I've been biased because I've talked about the woman and her mistake, sitting there with a baby daddy, a daughter, a step husband who slept with the daughter, and then we talk about the man on this one who made a mistake by having a baby mama, leaving the household. That means the baby mama's there raising his daughter, moving in with a woman and marrying that woman because she has the balls to put you out. Now, if she put you out, where you going? You can't go back to the baby mama because she's already getting the $500 child support, so she don't want you. She just wants the money. You done pissed your wife off if she divorced you, and that's probably more money you got to spend. So we're trying to think to people, what are y'all thinking about before y'all? Is sex really that good where it's just blinding you? Is it really what's going on? Because I'm just so confused about what goes on with folks. I'm not perfect. I've done stupid stuff myself, so I ain't gonna even sit there and tell you that. But I ain't done it that silly to the point where I've shot myself in both feet. Now I've shot myself in the foot once, but I ain't gonna shoot myself in the other foot because how you supposed to walk? So I understand where Damo's coming from, and I know what y'all think. Oh, you just a yes man, you agree? No, because he's saying things that I never thought about. Me being raised by nothing but women in the household and outside of the household and in the neighborhood. Women. This is all I know until a man comes and tells me what's going on with the men's problem. Because remember, last couple of shows we talked about was men's mental health. Because you a man, you're supposed to just deal with it. You know, you ain't supposed to cry, show emotions. You know, you break your arm, damn the hospital, you just let it heal. You know, like men are just as human as women. And what Damo sits on or stands on is just, hey, let's just try two-parenting households, right? And it all starts to me with the woman. I'm sorry, I know y'all gonna say, well, what about the man? No, it starts with the woman. Because you give him permission to lay down with you. Because if you don't, that's rape. So it starts with the woman trying to find the best man she can, because nobody's perfect. Then when you find the best man you can, y'all get yourselves together financially. Get you a home, a white picket fence, a nice little dog, and then you start creating the family. And hopefully when you do that, your daughter is not out here sleeping with the stepdaddy. Your sons ain't out here marrying women who's telling him to don't give a damn about his other children. That's what we're saying. We believe that that's the foundation. That's it. That's just the foundation of it all. We're not bashing women. We're not bashing men. And if you feel the opposite way, you feel like men should be the one to step up, then that's fine. Men step up, step up. I just feel like as the woman who has to carry the child for 9 months and 95% of the time has to raise the kids, I'm telling you to step up, because all I've ever seen was women being abused and lied to and mistreated and raising kids and raising grandkids and great grandkids. So I'm just saying, especially black women, step up. Sex is not that good to where you putting yourself in a hole. You having 6 or 7 kids, 6 or 7 baby. That's not helping you. That ain't helping your kids. And I guarantee you, one of those children gonna grow up to be just like you. They're gonna be pregnant at 16 or get somebody pregnant at 16, 17, and then they're gonna end up by 25 having 6 kids. It's just a generational curse. But somebody can stop it. Right? And that's what Damo is saying. It can be stopped. One of y'all step up. I don't care if it's the man or the woman, step up and vet this woman, vet that man, and find out this is the person you want to spend the rest of your life with. And I agree with Damo, especially if you're a woman. If you look at this man and say, hey, if I have a child and I die during the birth, will this man raise this child? And if you have to question that, don't open your legs to that man. Condom or no condom, walk away. Walk away. And that's what being a CEO is. You're not only being the CEO of a business, but you are also the CEO of your household. So if you're gonna be the CEO of your household, right? Men, since y'all want me to talk to the men, I'm gonna talk to the men. Men, if you want to be CEO of your household, then you have to pick you a good president, which is your wife. Because your kids gonna grow up to be your workers, because they're the ones you're gonna take the trash out, walk the dog, cut the grass. They're gonna end up being your workers. You know, just is what it is. And you need a president that's gonna sit down with you and help you with the finances, be your treasurer, be your secretary, be whatever it is, CEO. While you go out here and grow the household, they are inside taking care of the household. And when you do that, you're going to produce offspring that's going to do the same thing, because that's all they know. That's all they know. Yeah, because that's all they know. So y'all, I'm glad that y'all watched episode 8. I know it's kind of untraditional what I do when I do this podcast. It's really untraditional. I'm not even showing my CEO chain, you know. Here you go. Sorry. CEO Cartel, baby. I ain't showing. I wasn't even trying to show my CEO chain today, man. I just wanted to just talk to y'all, whether y'all watching this podcast live or later, or if you watch the one I do on Tuesdays from noon to 2 p.m. now. Just before you decide to get in your feelings and yell and scream, and just listen to us. Just listen to us. Just think about it. Just like, oh, okay, I hear what you're saying. Let me think about what you just said. And then after you took a few hours to think about it and you still disagree, then you can get in your feelings. But don't just jump in your feelings ASAP. Don't just do it right then and there. Think about what we're saying. We don't want y'all to agree with everything we're saying. Damo don't agree with everything I say. I don't agree with everything he say. But if he says something that I've never heard before I disagree with this man, whether it's privately or publicly, I'm gonna think about it. I'm gonna be like, no. But thank y'all for watching this. I enjoyed doing this CEO Cartel. You know I do it at night, so I don't usually have a lot of guests on my show. But I do just try to speak the truth, and hopefully next episode we'll be back to normal. We'll be back to, talking about business, talking about growing your business or whatever, getting things that you need to expand your empire and leaving generational wealth to your children. Maybe next episode I'll talk about trying to help family and friends that don't want to help themselves. I don't know if y'all have done that before. Have you? Have you ever tried to help family and friends they don't want to do for themselves, and then you get to the point where you tired of helping them? Does that make you the bad guy? Like, really? You know what I'm saying? But again, thank y'all so much. I appreciate it. We'll see y'all next time.